Hey squaddies, and welcome to Thriving with the Sussexes. My name is Deanna and I'm here to report on all things Sussex. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now let's get on with it. Hey squaddies, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are or whenever you're listening. Hello. I wanted to give you all another huge thanks for taking the time to subscribe to the channel. Thriving with the Sussexes, we have over 1,100 subscribers. Oh my gosh, I have no idea how. Wow. Hey squaddies, a quick heads up. I recorded the podcast on different days. You know the reasons based off my community tab. I was in different places as well, so some rooms may sound echoey, some not. Just a quick heads up. Okay, back to the podcast. Thriving with the Sussexes is the name, and I love how some of you call me Thriving. I think that is so cute actually. But I would like to reintroduce myself to some of you, or introduce as well. My name is Deanna, so you can keep calling me Thriving, but Deanna is also another option. You know what's crazy? It's Monday morning and it started off fine as usual for me. I'm getting up extremely early and starting my work day. Fortunately, today wasn't too crazy busy. I started early, so I finished early. And then it started raining. I love the rain. I'm not gonna lie. Pluviophile here. I absolutely love the smell of rain and the sounds of it. It's so calming and relaxing, and I was enjoying that when I noticed our Duchess's article from the cut. I literally screamed when I saw the cover. That's how happy I was. And I was what Harry once said about the birth of Archie, over the moon. So that's how I felt. I was over the moon, and then I was saying to myself, like, all right, we're gonna read this right now. And then the phone started ringing, and that reminded me that I forgot to clock out. But thank goodness that today wasn't as busy as I mentioned before, because as soon as that phone call ended, I started reading, and it was so good. It was everything. Okay. Now I started talking and I forgot to record the review of the article, which, oh my gosh, that's okay. It's Friday. It's Friday, 7:30 a.m. at the time of this recording, the time of this podcast. So yeah, my weekend started yesterday, Thursday, and unfortunately I was recovering from the evil migraine. I haven't had one in such a long time that I forgot the warning signs and the symptoms and everything. So, you know, after being a nurse to a little young loved one, I guess the migraine came. Migraine said, "Hey, don't forget about me. I haven't seen you for a year, but hey, I'm back, baby." Okay, let's get to this podcast. From the cut interview to the gorgeously stunning photos, I absolutely love all the photos, by the way. So stunningly beautiful. And if you haven't noticed, Meghan's forehead had a few wrinkles. And even she rocked those. Like, she made them look good. Is that strange for me to say? And of course her freckles were just beautiful as well. Like, you can tell that she takes amazing care of her skin. Like, her skincare regimen is on point. Like, her skin looks so smooth, so hydrated, so healthy, beautiful. To me, she looks 25, 26. And her slick back do, I mean, it all looked good. Everything looked good. Okay? Good. I'm saying good. Everything looked good. Nothing on her face looked hard. Oh, and a male cousin of mine, who I won't mention in name, said that Meghan looked like she smells good. My response, I'm sure she does. And then he was like, "What do you think she smells like? What kind of scent?" Like, I picture her like, I picture her having like a floral scent, fresh floral scent with a mixture of citrus. And I'm like, I mean, really? Like, you're looking at her, and he loves a woman who smells good. So he just loves women in general. He loves how we just take care of ourselves, and he appreciates that. And so he puts that into his own thing. You know, as a man, he wants to smell good and look good too. So, but he's very particular about the type of women he dates. He has to smell good. And if she don't smell good, then he'll buy her a nice expensive bottle of perfume. Yes, I know. It's just he buys her like an expensive bottle of perfume, and for some weird reason they take it. Like, I don't know, maybe because it's expensive, I guess. Of course, the interview started off with Archie being the typical adorable toddler who was obsessed and impressed with just about everything, and wants everybody around him to feel that, to have that same exact feeling and same exact joy and excitement of this wooden stethoscope that he's, was running around with. And that was so freaking cute. Reading moments like that just makes me have baby fever. You have no idea. I love it. I love it. I know some people are like, oh my God, I'm way past that. I'm like, I love it. Anywho, Meghan made this announcement that she's starting her Instagram again. All I know is that if and when she does start her Instagram account, it's going to just break the entire internet. It's probably going to break the whole meta universe, because Instagram is a part of that whole metaverse with Facebook. So if she does have her Instagram and everything back, then that'd be awesome, because that'd be like the Meghan that we all knew and loved before she met Harry. Meghan had a life, before she got married. She was, thriving. She was living her best life. She had even more subscribers than, those, than Tweedledee and Tweedledum. In the land of make believe, they live in cosplay. So I call it the land of make believe. They live in cosplay, smile and wave, and while living off taxpayers' money. And Meghan was just living her fabulous life with friends and family, and eating good and looking good, and my cousin smelling good. She had it all. But for the name of love, she downgraded her life and became a welfare royal for him. He downgraded her freedom, having a true voice, making that money, because she's a self-made millionaire, darling. So she wasn't like all the other women who married into that family. She already had her own. She was already well established. She's the modern woman of today. She earned her own money. She owned her own things. So it was no wonder Harry decided to get her and her child away from that place, because he knew what he had. There's no woman like Meghan in his world, and he wasn't about to lose her for the duty of his country. He's sixth in line. He's just a spare, right? I mean, they remind him that he's a spare, so. And he spent a decade while serving 2 tours in Afghanistan. He did his part for this country. So it was time that he thought outside the box and with his growing family. What's wrong with that? Nothing at all. And you don't have to worry about him being a burden to the taxpayer dollars, because he's making his own money and is paying his own taxes. Meghan might have given up her original life for Harry, but that's because she loves him. And even if it wasn't for long on living at that hellhole, it seemed like it was long. With all the BS articles and fake sources, she stayed because she loved her husband. But Harry loved her more. And because of that, he didn't want her to end up like his mother when she was married into that establishment. So he took his wife, kid, and bounced to America. Okay, we were talking about Meghan's Instagram account, and I kind of got off track. But like I said, if and when she, does open up her Instagram, it's going to be, she's just going to break the entire internet. It's probably going to be at that point, like if you click to follow her, it's probably not going to work because there's so many people doing it at the exact same time. Oh my god! And like, can you imagine like when she first got into that family, right? She had to like just close up everything. Like, she went from having her own social media to sharing it with 3 other people, and instead of posting her stuff freely and to her fans and to supporters and everything, she had no control over that. Like, someone else was doing that for her. And on top of that, she had to like share pictures and everything with the same people who was bullying her, who was harassing her, making her life a living hell. So when she said, "Why would I give the very people that are calling my children the N-word a photo of my child before I can share it with the people that love my child?" You tell me how that makes sense, and then I'll play that game. I hear that, Meghan. She spoke absolute facts here. Why would she reward her bullies with photos of her children just so they can, pick and choose and do anything they want with those images or whatever? Just because those bullies practically own her in-laws. Those people, the royal warders and all those people over there, they own that family. It's in a way it's like a blackmail kind of scheme, It's like, okay, well, you can own all our public photos if you don't do any bad stories about us, or you can have this as long as you don't do that. And they're in the royal family thinking that they have everything under control when it's actually the royal warder who has everything under control. Because at the end of the day, they may have all these resources, be invited to all these Christmas parties and get-togethers and private paychecks. That can all come turning around and biting them in their flat butts. Or is that biting them in the butt or biting them in the foot? You know what I'm talking about. It can backfire pretty much. Just like karma. Like, it always comes back to collect. But hey, that's their life. Like, can you imagine Miss Elizabeth and Chucky doing TikTok dances? And also, can you like imagine the Pekinator and his mannequin airhead doing dances, as well as skits with Colby Lane? I'm not even going to mention though. Let me just move on. But yeah, you can only take so much constant bullying and harassment, and they decided that it was best that they leave after, of course, making actual efforts to staying half in and half out in respect to Miss Elizabeth. They even thought of possibly living in Commonwealth countries such as Canada and Botswana. But even that wasn't good enough to that family, so they completely stepped down from the senior royals, which meant no more HRH or using the word royal. Last time I checked, nobody owns the word royal. So I still don't get that. And when they were cut off by that family, Meghan turned to Tyler Perry. That man was godsend, and I was so surprised, but then I wasn't, regarding her connection with Tyler Perry, because like I always assumed that they knew of each other, like in passing, like they're close to the great Oprah, so I thought maybe like he'll walk into Oprah's room while Oprah was speaking to her via Zoom, or they met at a red carpet event. I had no idea that they never met in person. He said that he was praying for her. He knew how much marrying into that family meant. So he told her to always call if she needs anything. And I'm so glad that she did, because it worked out. Tyler offered Meghan and Harry one of his homes and security. She said, "Sometimes you can tell your life story to a stranger on a plane, as opposed to some of the people that are closest to you." Amen to that. And I think it's absolutely sickening that a family could be so vile, so evil. Just like with Princess Diana, Princess Meghan marrying into that family gave them relevance. It also modernized them, because you have this self-made working woman who's mixed with black or African American, whatever you call yourself. She's mixed, okay? She's a biracial woman. She naturally connected with these people, and in return, they loved her. They loved her. She's this representation of them. Like, she's a part of the royal family. The British royal family. They really put a good image into the royal monarchy. And instead of protecting her and being so happy and just so proud that she's saving the family from losing Commonwealth countries, they mistreat her, lie about her, and bully her. When the media has shaped the story around you, it's really nice to be able to tell your own story. The Montecito home wasn't their first choice. even if they were looking in that area. They were on a budget as they didn't have jobs. Because their last job experience was work for royals. They didn't get paid. Yes, they were respected because they were Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but that was all they were, working for the family business without receiving a dime. Well, if getting a few allowances from Charles counted. In my opinion, they were probably getting the least amount of funding, and I believe I read somewhere where Meghan was paying for all her clothes. Remember when Harry used to wear those same pair of old shoes? Leaving that low-class family was the best thing that ever happened to them. They ended up moving to the Montecito home because it was definitely within the budget after all. Making $25 million with Spotify and $100 million with Netflix. Baby, let's just say that they were good. $14.65 million, good. One of the first things my husband saw when we walked around the house was those 2 palm trees, she coos. See how they're connected at the bottom? He goes, "My love, it's us." And now every day when the Archie goes by, he says, "Hi mama, hi papa." They are toured only the grounds when they sold the real estate. "We have to get this house," Meghan says. Meghan is showing everything, just the fabulousness and the sheer paradise of the estate of Montecito. Of the estate of Montecito. Just so beautiful. Just sheer paradise. In my mind. So our Duchess Meghan is fully aware of the importance of her status since marrying an actual prince. She's literally a princess, and little girls and boys see that. She's intelligent, beautiful, caring, graceful, confident, generous. All the traits to being a princess. You have the power within you to create a life greater than any fairy tale you've ever read. I absolutely agree with this, Meghan. And it sounds like something a Disney princess of this generation would say. Instead, it came from an actual princess of this generation. And Harry popping up was such a fun moment, barefoot and looking fine, at least from how I pictured it in the description. And there's guys out there who seems to always say the wrong things. Harry's not one of them. "You were gone for like 10 hours yesterday," he marvels to his wife. "Tell her the first thing you said when you got back last night," he said, turning to me. She said, "I'm not a model." "No, you are. Of course you can be a model." And she's like, "I'm a mom." And it's like, "You can be both," Harry says. I so agree with the interviewer regarding Harry earning himself so many points. I also love that they also sit side by side together while working for their artwork company. Most people that I know, and many of my family, they aren't able to work and live together. This definitely doesn't come as a shock. It's actually really weird because it seemed like a lot of pressure, but it feels natural and normal, and that's a beautiful thing to have. The couple shared about the not so easy start of their business ventures, the ups and downs on the project, such as the animated series Pro. They even smashed off the ridiculous rumors regarding a reality show, and that just sounds so insane to me because because that doesn't even sound like something Harry or Meghan would even want to entertain. And now they're building a life in Montecito, and that also includes bringing up their children in this crazy but interesting world. I love Meghan's gentle yet wise approach when it comes to teaching her son Archie manners. And that's manners makes the man. Manners, 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 manners. For Archie going to a fellow classmate's birthday party, to Harry joining a polo team with very close friends. They spend time with close-knit friends while living their best life. Harry is even out here fixing sprinklers. Sprinklers. And then going back to the UK, it must have left them with so many emotions, both good and bad. It was bittersweet, knowing none of it had to be this way. Meghan says, exactly, it didn't have to be this way. And I can't believe she never seen The Prince in Me. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I hope she gets a chance to see it someday. I think she'll like it. It's so cute. I mean, she likes my favorite childhood cartoon, The Little Mermaid, so. Anywho, just the thought of people not liking you simply for being something that you are, an American. I mean, we ask questions. We want to know what's in this super drink. We want to know, how did point A lead to point B? Why is it this way and not that way? I mean, what's wrong with wanting to know what the job description is? Why go in blindly and fail when you don't have to? It's not even just an American thing. It's an everybody thing, actually. So that just seemed odd and weird that, certain members of the royal families, one of their biggest issues was that she was just too American, and also she was just too good at the job. Like, how dare she be good at being a royal? This isn't supposed to come naturally to her. She's an outsider. She's an American. And why is she working so hard and making us look bad? Seriously? Whatever. Xenophobe, anyone? And what's wrong with working? Like I mentioned before about Princess Diana, she made that family relevant. So did Meghan. Well, Harry made that family relevant to a certain extent, but Meghan's presence multiplied that by 1,000. And instead of being thrilled by the relevancy, the Royal Royals' jealousy blew it for them. And they're still delusional about it. They think that, okay, like Harry and Meghan, oh wow, they're doing this, okay, maybe we should do it. So they're doing the exact same thing that Harry and Meghan were doing. And no one still cares, because you know why? People want to see Harry and Meghan. They're invited to these places because of their influence to the world. Yet you have a human tampon, a balding peganator, wooden airhead mannequin, and a sweating monster all out here making the royal family look crazy. Losing countries from the Commonwealth to being involved with some of the worst kind of men on earth to carrying bags of cash. And let's not forget the R-word comments regarding Africa and Asia's population. Okay, I'm getting off topic again, sort of, but I'm just gonna continue on with the annoying headlines about them, in particular Meghan. They were all racially motivated. All her success being a self-made millionaire, a humanitarian, an all-around good person just wasn't enough to those type of people. And the fact that she was part black made her not good enough for them. I guess having ancestors who was married to their first cousins would have been a better qualification. I don't know. And then you have Miss Scobie correcting the crazy spin that some of these publications, including the ones here in the United States, it was clearly Meghan not wanting Harry's situation with his father to end up like hers. And like Harry said to me, I lost my dad in this process. It doesn't have to be the same for them as it was for me. But that's his decision. While Charles wasn't a good father to Harry, sometimes people change as they grow older. I honestly don't think Charles is a good person at all. He's a fake to me, a phony. But I also don't know him personally. Maybe he changed this year in 2022. Maybe his heart grew less than half a quarter of an inch. I mean, the Grinch heart grew 3 sizes in one day, so I mean, if the Grinch heart can grow, I guess so can Charles's heart, even if it is less than a quarter of an inch bigger. I don't know, but somehow Meghan sees some good in him to not want her husband and father-in-law to end up the way she and her dad ended up. And her dad, he made the idiotic choice to listen to a bunch of jealous and unhappy individuals mess up his relationship with his daughter. He chose to go to the same people who caused his daughter emotional distress, helped cause her to lose a child. He did that. All he could have said was no. That's it. But the point in that part of the interview was just obvious to me. But I also understood the confusion. And, going into that even further, off the topic of fathers, but it was into Meghan in general, it's a damn if she did, damn if she don't to these tabloids. Heck, to the press in general. She's a $1 billion business. Everybody wants a piece of the pie, not viewing her as a human. She's more like a yearly paid off mortgage, a 4-year college education, a 400 guest wedding and reception. She's one of a kind eyelashes. She's child support payments, side chick allowances, you name it. These clowns haven't made this much since Diana. So yes, yes, they are clowns to me. So yes, I really enjoy the cute Archie moments. He is so adorable and so smart. Oh my gosh. And Meghan is such an amazing mom. Like, you can tell she's a mom of many great quotes. Archie is just 3, but having parents like Harry and Meghan, he's such a lucky kid. Both he and Lady Elizabeth, who had everybody doing just about everything just to get her to crack a smile. And she has her own bunny garden and larder. Archie has chickens and Lilibet has bunnies. How sweet. Now back to Meghan and her idea of forgiveness, which is totally understandable because I go by that as well. She said, I think forgiveness is really important. It takes a lot more energy to not forgive, but it takes a lot of effort to forgive. I really made an active effort, especially knowing that I can say anything. Sometimes you have to forgive and move on. And the people causing the hurt doesn't even have to know that you forgave them. It's all about your mental health and your peace of mind. And you can see, despite her saying she's still healing, is that she's free, at peace, and happy, as she should be. Now onto Archetypes, and this week's episode featuring the legendary diva, Mariah Carey. That interview was so fun. Mariah reminds me so much of my aunts, actually. A lot of them act just like her. She's a diva, but in a fabulous way. They also discussed about their struggles in fitting in the black and white world, and acknowledged their lighter skin privilege, and how they were treated compared to a darker skinned person. Colorism. They also spoke about hair, which was absolutely hilarious. Listen, for me, because hair is definitely unique, and it doesn't even matter if you're black or mixed. Your hair can come out straight, curly, wavy, all the above. It's all in the genes. And then the subject about opera legend Leontine Price, who is actually new to a lot of people, came up. And I fortunately know of Leontine Price. I grew up listening to many amazing opera singers. It's because my mom is a huge opera fan, especially with the black opera singers. And my grandmom, she loved, actually she's from Leontine Price's generation. And you're probably like, wait, your grandma? Yes, my grandma was actually older than Leontine Price. It's just interesting because okay, your voice, you sound young. Well, I am young. But it's just that my grandma and my grandfather had a lot of children, a lot of children. They had like 13 kids. And throughout the years and the decades, we had a lot of kids. So there's like the first batch of kids that they had, like the older ones. I have aunts and uncles in their 70s and 80s. And then there's the other batch of kids, the second batch, and then there's the young batch, like the youngest ones. So the ones who like grew up watching like Sanford and Son and the Good Times and all that stuff. So you know what I mean. So my mom, she's from the younger batch, the last group of babies. Oh gosh, so many kids. Wow. So yeah, the older kids, they would help out my grandma, and everything, but with the younger kids. So yeah. So yeah, now that makes sense, right? And my grandfather, oh my god, he's older than my grandma too. So that's even crazier. Like just when I think about it. Oh my gosh. So yeah, they had a lot of kids. So I hope that makes sense to you now regarding that. But yeah, Leontine Price, she was definitely like one of the amazing listens in our house growing up. You get the picture. So Leontine Price was definitely no stranger in our family. Her beautiful and powerful voice is everything. And she lived up to another legend, Marian Anderson. Leontine's voice is so enchanting and pleasing to the ears, and don't judge me, is almost in a way orgasmic. There's only a few singers who can give off that reaction. Such sheer perfection. She made it look so easy when it wasn't. Her jaws were never tense when singing. It was always relaxed, and to me, when singing, that's one of the most important factors. Have everything relaxed so that you're belting out the natural instrument that God bless you with. She used all her accents for sounding perfect because she knew how to use them. Her chest voice, her breathing, her effortless high notes, her... Okay, we're supposed to be talking about divas, and here I am talking about Leontine Price's singing vocal ability. It's just crazy. I'm not even going to delete that. I'm going to just keep that in. But I'm sure my reaction to her singing is almost exactly like how her fans view her. She sang like a goddess and looked like one as well. She's a diva. And my definition of a diva has always been positive, even when some people would use it as a negative. Like, ugh, she's such a diva. I know that's right, diva. Diva is a female version of a hustler. So apparently, okay, that was Beyonce. So Dr. Mashikin Farian Tokopian spoke on the meaning of the history of the word or label, which made a lot of sense to me. So many people have so many meanings to that word. For some it's negative, some is positive, and for everybody else it's in between. It's kind of like the most offensive word in the human language, the N word. It was originally a positive word, at least from the origin standard. It was originally known as just a color, a shade, yet there are people who misuse that word negatively so much that it's stuck, unfortunately. Even changing and adding the letterings around over time just to justify that negative aspect, just to tear down a group of people. It's the same with diva. Like, that's how I think of the word diva. Like, is a beautiful description of honoring a woman who has influenced so many to love her based off her persona, her existence. Yeah, unfortunately, over time, there must have been some hater of this woman or something, and they just had to spin it and convince, some other people who probably felt a little jealous as well, and they decided to just spin it and convince those people to use that word in a negative, sense to tear that woman down, and eventually grew, just started tearing more and more women down. Get what I'm saying? So to me, diva is fierce, confident, graceful, fashionably stylish, hot off the presses, sexy, respected, strong, feminine, trailblazer. The discussion was just so enjoyable, and Meghan and Mariah have a lot in common, yet they also differ. I laughed when Mariah told Meghan that she too has some diva qualities, and she does. She's everything I mentioned what a diva is to me. So I'm glad that she realized that Mariah meant it as a compliment. You can clearly see Mariah is confident in her diva, and I hope that Meghan is beginning to feel confident in hers as well. I look forward to the next episode of Archetypes with Mindy Calling. I'm a fan of hers as well, so I'm looking forward to that. And in random news, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, received over 142,000 streams on Spotify on September 1st. Her response, "Not yet." I wonder if Archetypes had anything to do with it. Makes me want to start off my Mariah Carey Christmas music, but I'm going to hold off until at least after Halloween. So if the Queen of Christmas says not yet, then it's not yet. And I also want to give a happy birthday to the Queen of Everything. That's Queen Doria, Meghan's mommy. So we give her a happy birthday. I would sing the Stevie Wonder version, but copyright, so not going to. So wish her a happy birthday. And remember, basic is not festive. Mariah is so awesome. I love that. Oh, and I forgot to add in, Mariah tweeted about the Archetypes interview, saying, "Really enjoyed talking to Duchess and Diva Meghan about the duality of diva. Yes, I call her a diva in the most fabulous, gorgeous, and empowering meaning of the word. #Archetypes." That whole entire podcast was just so fun and really enjoyed it. I hope that they're able to do another one, because that was really good talk. It really was a good discussion. I loved everything that they spoke of. Like I said, of course they spoke on the diva, but they spoke on colorism actually, and they're privileged. They have lighter skin compared to Halle Berry, she's mixed as well. You know, has darker skin, so she looks more like a black person. So she's treated like a black person, I guess. I can say the same like for President Obama. Like, he's our first black president, but he's biracial. He's a mixed man. So he was treated like a black man, and he relates more. He identifies as that as well. And that's another thing they spoke about. Like, I guess people wanted them to choose a side, and I'm glad that they don't choose a side. I'm glad they haven't. I'm glad that they embrace their mixedness, their biracialness, their biracial butterflies. So it's okay to identify as that. Like the black butterflies, the white butterflies, all the other butterflies out there. Like, just people who are biracial, they can identify as, you know, black as well. Like I already mentioned, President Obama and Halle Berry. Like, that's who they identify with, and I don't see an issue with that either. Some people were triggered, and you know what? I understand why they feel that way, but Meghan is a biracial woman. Mariah Carey is biracial. So if you're that triggered over mixed biracial people embracing their mixed heritage, then that's your personal problem. I see nothing wrong with what they're saying. Like, why can't they embrace both sides or the multiple sides that they're mixed with? That's who they are. And what's also annoying to me are the creepy guys out there, and just the creepy guys out there of a certain group. You know, the right wing guys and the red pill guys and any misogynistic male masculine group out there that hates women, especially women like Hillary and Kamala and Meghan. Seems like they're all pretty much the same to me at this point. Like, yeah, we get it. You hate women. The guys in that group, a lot of them are talking nonsense about Meghan, saying she's like whitewashed, and she got offended in an article, and, you know, not saying that she's black or doesn't embrace her blackness. And it's like, do you even know how to read? A simple Google search or Twitter search, heck, Facebook, is anything. Like, the internet never disappears. Like, all the receipts are out there. I let them speak for themselves. Like this one, for instance.
For me, I think for me, beyond being personally affected by racism, just to see the landscape of what our country is like right now, certainly the world, and to want things to be better. Quite honestly, your race is part of what defines you. I think what shifts things is that the world really treats you based on how you look. Certain people don't look at me and see me as a black woman or a biracial woman. They treat me differently, I think, than they would if they knew what I was mixed with. And I think that is, I don't know, it can be a struggle as much as it can be a good thing depending on the people that you're dealing with. Leaving LA, it was sort of like leaving this bubble where I was used to everything and had been exposed to everything except for a closed-mindedness that I experienced when I traveled outside of where I was from. And I think that in doing that, it just really opened my eyes to a mentality that still exists that I thought was backdated to the days of when my grandfather moved our family from Cleveland to LA, and they drove across the country and to stop and get food, whatever kind of place they were going to, and they had to go around to the back to get food for the family. You know, I thought that was really isolated to those days that we were past, and sadly they're not. I am really proud of my heritage on both sides. I'm really proud of where I've come from and where I'm going. But yeah, I hope that by the time I have children, that people are even more open-minded to how things are changing, and that having a mixed world is what it's all about. I mean, certainly it's it makes it a lot more beautiful and a lot more interesting.
So yes, the receipts speak for themselves. And I honestly don't see what she said was wrong in that podcast. She spoke her life experience. She spoke her truth. Yes, I'm aware that there are, mixed race biracial people as well who's experienced racism, and I've seen some of them saying, like, how did she not to know what racism is? And like I said, like, the receipts speak for themselves. She never said she's not aware of racism. Like, she's seen it through her mother, her ancestors, and and everything in between. So just stop this fake outrage, this fake hate. I mean, a lot of these people are getting their information off the fake news organizations like the British tabloids. So, and they're not even like listening to the podcast, they're not listening to the podcast to get their own perspective, their own opinion on the matter. They're just being lazy and just going by what is said here and there instead of just looking it up yourself, doing your own research. So I'm just going to end it at that. She's spoken truth, and is actually the truth. Most people, when they look at Meghan, they don't see a black woman. They don't know what they see. They don't see a black woman. For me personally, I mean, when I first saw her, it was on Deal or No Deal. I'm gonna be honest with you, she looked like a mixed woman to me, but maybe because like I'm just so used to my family's a versatile, sort of, group. I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate as well. Like, there's some people in your family who's very fair skin or light skin, and they have, Eurocentric features, while there's, others have Afrocentric features, you know what I mean? Like, there are some people who have their nose look a certain way, their mouth look a certain way, their face look a certain way, and skin and hair texture. Like, so, I mean, it was a lot easier for me to spot Meghan as a biracial woman who's mixed with black, while others said, oh, she looked like a white woman. But yes, I understand what she meant, and that's that. And I know I'm not going to get like any apologies or any response back from the trolls that I personally sent receipts to in some of these comment sections, because they're there to troll. That's their job. So I'm not expecting anything. Like, I'm not expecting, oh, you're right, I should have researched myself, I should have read this, or thank you for providing this information, this insightful information. Like, I know those type of people, they don't respond to stuff like that. So, but on a positive note, at least, that I know that the information is out there for people who are curious. So, and there you have it. In other news, in a way, Invinctis Games Dusseldorf had a tweet with just a few days to the visit of the patron of We Are Invinctis and his wife, Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Preparations in Dusseldorf are in full swing. We look forward to an exciting next week. More info coming soon. And we're all looking forward to it as well. And of course, I couldn't forget to report that our girl Meghan, #1 once again with Archetypes in several countries, and she's also in the top 5 in multiple countries around the world. So our girl Meghan is winning. So happy, and I look forward to her next podcast with Mindy Kaling. I included all the sources that I use for this podcast, as well as the songs that's featured in the podcast, because I've been reading some comments saying that how much they like this song and that song, and they like the music to the podcast, and I always share and credit the music to all the songs that I have in any of my videos, whether it's podcasts or whether it's like fan videos. If you like information regarding that, it'll also be in the description box as well. So looking forward to next week for the Sussexes. I'm so excited, so happy, and just so thrilled. It's just been an amazing month of August, and we know that this month of September is going to be just as amazing, just as exciting, and just wonderful for all of us. Until then, I guess I have to let you all go now. I really wanted to speak more on things, but I think I was spoken a little bit too much because my voice is getting really tired. I can hear it already. So, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. As for the American listeners, the listeners from the US, I know that we are celebrating Labor Day for Monday, so I'm hoping that you're enjoying the rest of your extended weekend. And everyone is listening, everybody, I hope that the rest of your weekend is filled with blue skies, sunshines with positive vibes. I'd like to thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell. My name is Deanna, and you are watching Thriving with the Sussexes. Talk to you soon.